Howdy, soldiers. Oh, hey, what's that on your wrist? Oh, coming to you freshly inked. This is my latest tattoo that I got 5 hours ago. So, I mean, she's not super beautiful anymore. She's starting to bleed. This beautiful fox jaw, and then some huckleberries as part of my final, like, piece of my sleeve. I have, like, 2 tiny little spots that I want to add, like, just a little bit extra to. But for the most part, it's done, and oh my gosh, I love it so much. Of course, I will leave my artist in the comments below, don't you worry. Also, do you like my shirt? I like my shirt. And this shirt too could be yours if you go to the affiliate link in the description box below. Shout out to Shop Charlie's Place, which is an amazing queer bookish Etsy shop, for sending me part of her latest Booktrovert line. This is the boba glass, and it's so freaking cute, but unfortunately I do not have boba at the moment, so I'm just drinking fizzy water out of this. You know, I'm just gonna use it to drink whenever I want, and you can't tell me otherwise because you're not my real dad. Also, part of that collection is some stickers and like annotation kits and bookmarks, so I am almost done reading the roughest draft, and I've been using this guy to help me keep my page. And wouldn't you know it, I happen to have a code with her as well, so I will also leave that down in the description. This intro has already gone on long enough. So, what are we even here for on my floor today to discuss? Well, August apparently happened, and I happened to read books in that month somehow. The books I read in August were a bit of a mishmash of genres and lengths, and I didn't really have a theme or like anything that I was reading towards, so I do feel a little bit unsatisfied with what I have read, but at the same time, like looking back at all my reviews, I left good reviews on them in my notes app on my phone, so I guess I did have a great time. And it was a heat wave. I must have just like sweat out all of my memories and feelings towards these. But tonight we shall wrap up our thoughts on books I read in the month of August. So without further ado, grab a drink, grab a snack, and buckle in. All right, first up is one that you will have seen me mention if you've watched my last couple of videos, and that is I finally got my hands on a copy of Electric Idol by Katie Robert. Also, if you've been with me for a couple of months, you know that I have searched high and low, far and wide, over the mountain and through the woods for a freaking copy of this damn book, because I have gone to bookstores across BC and none of them had it in stock for whatever reason. Just this one. So, you know, it's a small miracle I'm holding this in my hands right now, and honestly, I don't even know if that miracle was worth it. Electric Idol is the second in her Dark Olympus series. They can be read separately, but they do have a through line that connects them. Electric Idol is based on the myth of Eros and Psyche, and I have liked this one the least so far. In this series, the gods are not gods, but they are positions of power, and Psyche is a daughter of the current Demeter, and she acts as like a social media influencer, while Eros is the son of Aphrodite, and he acts as her hitman, and Aphrodite puts out a hit on Psyche. But instead of killing her, he saves her, and they fall in love. Well, it's sort of a kidnapping thing, just a little bit. I remember at one point in this, Psyche's like taking a picture of herself to post on Instagram, and she's like, "Ugh, it took so long. It took 10 photos to get the perfect photo." And I'm like, bitch, excuse me? I take like 80 photos to get one semi-decent photo. What are you talking about? Like, I can suspend my disbelief to believe that there is a pantheon of semi-magical people running a city, but that's just unrealistic. I like Eros in theory more than I like him in practice. His character has some inconsistencies when it comes to like showing versus telling. And okay, here's the thing though. Okay, so he is a spy. Like, he's a spy assassin, and he doesn't use social media? Like, what? And although Katie Robert is a very successful romance writer, I think that she secretly wants to be an interior designer, because there are way too many hardcore interior decor judgments in this book. And the attraction and sex was like kind of boring. Like, I mean that it was inconsistent, and like I couldn't get a grasp on what it was supposed to be. I'm like, what's the vibe? You know, is it supposed to be kinky? Is it supposed to be tender? Is she cute? Is she hot? And talk about fast tracking a relationship. Jesus fucking Christ, it has been 2 days, you guys. I am glad that I read this third and not second, because I think if I had read this second, I wouldn't have continued on with the series. But the third book, Wicked Beauty, freaking slaps. So I am going to be going forward, but I'm glad this book is now in my past. Just smack that there. All right, next. All right, next is a book that I thoroughly enjoyed that has a fun backstory to it as well. So I was casually bopping around Main Street, as I want to do, and wandered into a book warehouse. And what do you know? They had one final copy of A Broken Blade by Melissa Blair on their shelves. So of course I had to pick it up. If you don't know, Melissa Blair is a TikToker, an author who ran an anonymous campaign when A Broken Blade was first announced. And I believe she did the same thing for her second novel, which has also just been announced. So congratulations, Melissa Blair. We're mutual. She's so nice. She has great writing. I can't wait to talk about this book. Let's go. A Broken Blade is what I'm going to lovingly refer to as Better Throne of Glass. Now, I know the SJM fans are out there and, they're ready to draw blood. But may I just say, this is a fairy assassin magic novel with enemies to lovers and a good heist by an author who's not problematic. So, maybe you want to pick this one up instead. In a world where elves, fae, and mortals once lived in harmony, the humans rose up to colonize the lands. The fae fucked off to, distant lands. The elves have slowly been dying, and all halflings are now enslaved under the king. When a mysterious figure only known as the Shadow starts making ripples in the kingdom, King's assassin and half-elf Kira is sent on a mission to find and destroy him. But her assignment brings her to the land of the fae, where she finds out that many more things between humans, elves, and fae have been happening behind the scenes that she ever thought. Melissa herself is Anishinaabe, and so there is a lot in here about colonization and the loss of culture that colonization brings. Also, one of the main plots in this is that our assassin is an alcoholic and how that affects her, and that was really interesting because I don't know if I've ever read an alcoholic character. Now, even though this book was great, I loved the ending, and the tension between characters is top notch. I will say I can tell this is her first book. A lot of the character intros are a little info dumpy. Nobody speaks like that in real life. But the aesthetics of this fae world are gorgeous. And, Riven is out here looking like a paranormal snack. The romantic tension was good, but sometimes the arguments were a little petty and were, a little bit annoying. But, considering the twist at the end, I'm wondering how that character development is going to change in the sequel. So I am intrigued, and I definitely will be reading the second one. Great. Next. I'll be fast on this next one because I've been talking about it a lot lately. Don't know how that happened, but it is. Every once in a while I think to myself, was that a real book? Did that actually happen? Did I just make that up? And then I reread it and I'm like, oh no, it still slaps. So I just finished another reread of Space Opera by Catherine M. Valente. This is a wonderfully weird, wibbly-wobbly sci-fi novel about a talent competition in space amongst sentient beings of the galaxy. Every cycle, the Galactic Grand Prix will roll into town and sweep up any planets that have sentient life on them. And then those life forms have to lip sync for their life. And if they lose, their planet gets destroyed. And our main character is a washed up rock star who accidentally gets themselves delegated as the singer to represent Earth. It is glittery lipstick and feathers and pyrotechnics and deep existentialism about what it means to not be alone in the universe. So you get a great combination of karaoke, talent show, fun time, but then also a surprising amount of physics that I don't hate. I took one astronomy class and I barely understand what's going on in this, but you know what? I think that's part of the fun. But it also makes me think that if aliens heard me when I sing in the shower, that Earth would kind of be screwed. All right, so number 4. Number 4. You come to this channel for the books, not the math. Number 4 is a book that I found on Kindle Unlimited that I had a very fun time reading, and that is Faking with Benefits by Lily Gold. I also mentioned this book in my last video when I talked about reverse harem tropes and polyam books, and I would recommend checking that out because I really like that video. Layla is a 28-year-old lingerie shop owner who's never had a boyfriend, and this doesn't really fit into her long-term plans. Luckily, she has 3 hot neighbors who are willing to become her practice boyfriends and teach her all they know about dating. While it was cheesy at times, I had a great time reading this book. It was fun, it was funny, and it had actually great relationship advice. Also a surprising amount of working through grief and guilt, especially when it comes to family and failed relationships. This also is a good example of good frat boy energy. Some frat houses have men who they sound like they're gonna go into politics or jail or both, and some frat houses are full of well-meaning himbos that even if everyone's a little drunk, they're still gonna help you find your keys. Those are the kind of guys I'm talking about. And damn, I never thought I'd have so many good things to say about 3 white men with a podcast, but here we are. And yes, this book is spicy, but it also has great romance and really sweet friendship dynamics. It's also multiple POV, so we get to see in the head of each of the men and Layla, and I really enjoyed that, kind of seeing how everybody sees one another and how everyone relates to one another and who's working through what with what person. This book is everything I want in a relationship. It's cute and hot and has good communication. Woo! Sign me up. Oh, I don't have a book to put here because this is, here. I still have this hanging around, so I'll put it backwards to represent the book. There we go. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Number 5. All right, so this next book is a dense fantasy that I have been yelled at on multiple occasions for not reading it. So I finally picked up The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. Yes, I know, I'm like a whole ass year late, and I'm sure everyone's already seen a million reviews of this, and you're probably bored, but you know what? I'm not like other girls. No. Every girl out there, I love you. I am just like you. I've read this book and I really, really enjoyed it. But in case you don't know, The Jasmine Throne is an East Indian-inspired fantasy novel that follows 2 women. Princess Malini has been exiled and trapped by her brother in an ancient temple, and maidservant Priya discarded her magic long ago to live a more simple life. But when the 2 of them meet and sparks fly, magic and politics across the continent collide, and the 2 of them are in the eye of the storm beneath the endless waters. Of course, as it's going to happen, there was so much pressure on this book to be good, so I feel like I would have enjoyed it more if I didn't have those expectations of it. This took longer to get into than I was hoping for. Like, it's definitely a slow burn book. However, I really, really enjoyed seeing from the points of view of how many characters that we did. I was not expecting that, but I love how we can fill in the web as the world is crumbling beneath us. Now, one of the tropes that my deep black rotted soul absolutely loves is like a cursed or sentient forest. And I love that Tasha Suri went, oh, you want a sentient forest? I raise you a sentient mountain. And this just goes to show trees and flowers can be way scarier than you think. I love the plot line with the temple children and the Yaksa. It was great to see all these strong women who are all strong in their own way, and like Priya coming into her powers, and Malini learning to stand up for herself and like taking back control, and Bhumika just like being this freaking straight up magic badass. I do not yet have the Oleander sword, but I am going to the bookstore this week for something else, and just like this cursed forest, you know, I'm not going to be responsible for what I walk out of it with. All right, second last is the last physical book I have on this list, and one that I'm the most conflicted about. So I work semi-regularly with the book subscription box Book of the Month. You probably heard me mention them before. And in one of the last boxes that I got from them, I had a copy of The Lifestyle by Taylor Hahn, which is about ethical non-monogamy. And I was like, oh, interest? Peaked. Lawyer Georgina has what she calls a perfect life, but that illusion is promptly shattered when she walks in on her husband having an affair with the new junior associate at the law firm they both work at. But because divorce didn't fit into her life plan, she decides that to save her marriage, she and her husband should become swingers. Now, I am a monogamous person, but that doesn't mean that I don't support polyamory and E&M if, you know, it's your thing. If it's your boat, float in it, you know? Now, non-monogamy is not a one-size-fits-all term, and even the term swinger is like going a little out of fashion, and it can mean a couple of different things, but it basically means that you can have sex with whoever you want, but you remain committed to your main partner. This book is very funny. Like, you're rooting for Georgina the whole time while also just begging her to chill the fuck out. I really like the side characters, and especially since Georgina's whole thing is that she's really big into control and meddling and kind of like trying to make everything fit her vision. I really enjoyed how the side characters pushed back and like carved their own story within this. This did do a very good job exploring what non-monogamy is, how it's not scary and like uber kinky all the time, and it can just be, you know, a new kind of connection with a new person that you enjoy exploring. And I really like that, like, it made it accessible. I would say this is a pretty good representation of ethical non-monogamy and the challenges that come when you're a couple opening up your relationship. And not to say that you can't go in and out of periods of non-monogamy in your life, but light spoilers, this book ends up with the main character being in a monogamous relationship and like being praised for that, and then also everybody else that she knows being in a monogamous relationship. And considering that the first half of the book is about kind of learning to give up control and realizing that, you know, non-monogamy exists and that she's enjoying it, I felt like it could have been a thing. Like, she could have realized that a poly relationship was better for her, or that the communication skills that she learned while swinging could be brought into the new relationship. So I'm not sure what the theme of this book is supposed to be, and I feel like the new love interest relationship could have been a lot stronger, because I really liked the tension and the dynamic and the complications that decision to become swingers brought to the main divorcing couple. If there's any poly people in my comments, like, please read this and let me know what you think of it. Okay, so last book is another one I read on Kindle Unlimited. hello, is a book that got recommended to me by Hobbit's Library, who is a mutual on TikTok. This is a combination of Our Flag Means Death and Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, except with more disability rep and steampunk galore, and that is Our Bloody Pearl by Deanne Bryn. Our main character, Pearl, is a siren who's been captured by a ruthless pirate queen who is creating technology that cancels out siren song. But when the pirate ship she's on gets taken over, the new captain on board is much more sympathetic to her plight, and they and Dejan strike a bargain where Dejan is going to help them regain their strength, and they will bring him to the ship that had them captured so that he can seek revenge. Not only is our main character not fully human, but they are disabled because of something that happened to their tail, so they're paralyzed from the waist down, and they're also nonverbal because they're not human. So there's a kind of sign language that Pearl and Dejan create to speak to one another. I loved reading from the perspective of a non-human character and how they think about humanity and humans and like human connection, then also how they feel about their own siren culture and, you know, places that it could improve and things that we can both learn from one another. Pearl's just a little bit feral, so it's very fun watching them keep the rest of the pirates on their toes. This book is very queer. Gender is a big staple plot of this book, and how sirens don't have the same ideas of gender as humans do. And the themes of family and friendship are so wonderful to read, especially with the family that Dejan has on his pirate ship and on the island. The steampunk aspect of it is also very cool because of the way that people in this world look at physical disabilities. It's interesting to see like what they build to accommodate themselves and what they are building to help accommodate Pearl. Our Bloody Pearl is the perfect title for this book, honestly, because there is some blood and some gore. Not a lot, just like enough for flavor. But also there is something that shines from within this book, and I would highly recommend that you give it a go and pick it up. Oh, I need a book to put on the top. Oh, hold on. I have another book within arm's reach. This is Ledge by Stacey McEwen. And just saying, you might want to keep your eye out for something here soon with Stacey and I. Just, you know, you never know what might happen. Place of honor. There we go. 7 books that I read in August. All right, yeah, I got this done in like pretty good time. My camera only overheated once. It rained today, and it was so nice to be able to wear pants outside to go get my tattoo done. Oh, it's gotten juicier in the last hour and a bit. Okay, that's gross. It's totally fine. Your body is just, you know, putting out plasma to like try and heal over. Because technically, you know, I just got stabbed for like 3 hours straight. So it's, you know, trying to heal the wound. And so there's going to be a little bit of extra fluid on my arm for the next couple of days, and it's fine. It's natural. It means it's healing properly. It just looks a little disgusting. I do this thing every year where I'm like, I'm not gonna get tattooed in the summer because I know how much it sucks to get tattooed in the summer and for it to be hot and you to be sweaty. And then what do? I go and book tattoos in the summer like an idiot. Please leave down below what you read this August, or if you want to fangirl about any of this stuff. You know, I'm like a year late to Jasmine Throne, so I give you full permission to yell at me. Thank you all for joining me this evening, and may I just remind you that there's some fun links in the description box if you want to get some cool merch or some sick bookish wearables. And good luck and Godspeed to all the students that are signing up for classes again this term. I wish you all the best. You know where to click to like the video. You know where to click to subscribe. I hope you guys are all having a nice day wherever you are, and I will see you all next week. Bye!